With Mr. Warsito, Purwo Taruno. He is the Executive Director of CTECH Labs, Edwar Technology, the first inventor of 4D brain activity scanner in the world, and the inventor of ECCT, Electro Capacitive Cancer Treatment. So his topic is about the innovation in developing country experiences in developing and commercialization ECVT and ECCT technologies for cancer diagnosis and therapy. So we can highlight his education. He got his bachelor in chemical in the University of Shizuoka in Japan in 1992. His master degree in chemical in the University of Shizuoka University in 1994. And his PhD in electronic science in 1997. So he got many awards and honors. We can highlight the most important in 2010. He was named one of the 40 Indonesian selected people, Media Indonesia. In 2006, name of 10 who changed Indonesia in the Tempo magazine. In 2002, he was recognized as his outstanding postdoctoral research award, American Chemistry Society. So let's welcome Mr. Warsito Taruno.
Thank you, Joanna. Actually, this session is success story session, but I felt so little today after listening a great, outstanding speakers we had today. Like the last one, I think, quite successful one in the area biomedical engineering, which we are actually working in the same area, or maybe competing, not competing maybe. And the first speaker, I think this a great founder of the current modern Taiwan on the semiconductor industry. I think we have very fortunate today to learn from the first hand how things can build like Taiwan today. So I felt like I don't have anything to say after listening to all the speaker, but I was happy after the lecture of Mr. Sekine today. Because what? Because he says things will not make you happy. So it means that nothing can make you happy too, as well as you are happy. That's I think a good point. But I think he doesn't learn a lot of things about Indonesia, because Indonesia, he learned about Indonesia maybe just gado-gado and nasi goreng, but he doesn't learn truly about Indonesia. Because what? Indonesia can be happy without having anything, without making things, without doing anything. So that makes me no. I don't need to feel so little among those great speakers today. But well, we have to go back to our topic today about innovation, because that's what we are here today. After we making a lot of flight last night, I think I was with a lot of people taking a flight, Garuda, last night, and coming straight to the conference without having a chance to make a shower or a nap. But I'm fortunate because I bought a shower back then. So okay, we have to go back to our topic today, otherwise we will be following Mr. Sekine. That's what I'm worried. If he learned so a lot about Indonesia, he will be coming among in a temple sometime in Indonesia. No, that's not what we like. We like to talk about today. Well, that's my my presentation that I prepared. So we today learn about innovation from the great hand. The first hand, the father, I think the founding father of the Taiwan semiconductor company. And we learn about research, we learn about innovation, and we learn, especially for the second lecture today, Mr. Johnson shared, about how to turn research innovation into business. So but the challenge that I don't need to feel little here, because your challenge is not how you are going to do it in Taiwan, or maybe you are going to move to US or somewhere else, but you will do it in Indonesia. So that things I think the big difference between me and the other speaker, because doing things in Indonesia is completely different from everything lectured today about the theory of research, the theory of innovation, the theory of how to make an innovation into a business. You won't find in angel capital, angel fund in Indonesia, you won't find capital, venture capital in Indonesia. You won't even find, maybe sometimes a lot of happen not having internet, not having electricity. So even electricity is still a problem when you are trying to do a business in Indonesia. There's thing that I have experienced all those things, that I think that's what's different. I have spent 12 years in Japan and 7 years in US, but nothing comparable to what I have experienced in Indonesia. No, in Japan, why I did leave? I did leave Japan after I spent 12 years, even though that is very promising career. Because I agree with Professor Chang. I agree with Mr. Sekine. Because when you are talking about innovation, so if you talk about Japan, Japan is good. Before I left Japan 20 years ago, I guess. I used the most smartest smartphone in the world at that time. Even that time, maybe you are not born yet. I think the most advanced smartphone in the world. But well, that's never happened in outside Japan. So Japan is good, but it's too boring, I guess, because everything is so linear. Everything is so linear. If you work very hard, I think you will get an increase in salary for sure. So I think that's not what I was looking for. Then I moved to US. US a little bit challenging, but still not good enough for me at that time. And I chose Indonesia because what? I think Mr. Sekine answered all those questions I like to deliver to you today. Happiness. But I think there's true happiness, not being a monk in a temple without doing anything. So I think this kind of different happiness from Mr. Sekine's define. Because what? If you try to make something like that in your research, and you like to turn it into products, I think in Japan and in US, so I think a good chance to do that. But if you are good enough and you are working very hard, but I think Indonesia is different. Indonesia is different because making a little change give sometimes a great impact in changing to the society. Even, for example, you contribute on making electricity in very rural area. So there's thing that makes me more tempting, I guess. That's I decided to look to left US and Japan and come back to Indonesia. But you never know really about Indonesia in terms when you are talking about knowledge economy, technology-based company. So I think Indonesia is very, I think not permissive, untolerating country when you are talking about making or establishing knowledge-based company. What's just as example, the picture you just show about me, that's only a couple years back, and now you can see my hair is all gray. That's just you can see what's about Indonesia. You have to be ready. You have to be ready to face that world. When you are talking about, you like to try Indonesia, but I think I have some experience of doing that. So I think I have experience on this thing, and I can say that I have been successfully that I overcame all these obstacles, including not having internet connection, not having electricity. It doesn't bother me anymore. So that's a good thing. So in that way, so I can say that I have a little success story in doing things in Indonesia. All right, that's just introduction. So you are not boring because my talk in the last session. But I'm happy because all things that I like to say in my lecture, have been explained, have been delivered by previous lectures, including, I think, the last answer, the whole thing that I like to tell you what had been told, what had been explained by Mr. Sekine about things. So, well, I like to share my experience in how developing something in a country where there is nothing, even electricity, some kind you got no electricity for the whole day. Nevertheless, about internet. So internet is like maybe it's very luxury things in Indonesia, and that's the thing that you like to. That's the place that you like to establish about knowledge economy. My experience is starting. My experience how I ended up in Indonesia. I started my research and my bachelor program in Shizuoka University on developing a sensor. Then is until I graduated. It's lasted until I graduated my PhD in 1997, and I moved to Ohio State University in 1999, and then I started my research in Indonesia 2003, and then until now. So that's my experience, the whole thing, how to start something in Indonesia after spending my life in Japan and Ohio State, but still I feel more happy in Indonesia better than everywhere else. So that's I can tell you that. That's the strategy. There's a little bit theory. How you can do that in Indonesia. There is a theory described by Mr. Johnson shared today about how starting research into implementation and innovation, but actually it's not really helpful in Indonesia because you have to start everything, you have to do everything yourself. You do your own research, you find a funding, sometimes loan, sometimes you have to sell everything you have. That's what Indonesia is. But that's what you have to do. But you have to do everything yourself until someday there is someone pull out their money to buy your product. It can be very fast, in a couple of months, but it can be very long, years. But the thing is how you will, you have enough mind motivation to sustain all those time. That's what you have to do in Indonesia. So this thing maybe not that's really wow, but it's actually something that you have to do everything. It's just I put it in a nice way that looks like very nice, nice theory, but it means that you have to do everything. And now we have research in everything as well. We have Center for Electronic Science and Technology. We have Center for High Performance Computing. We have Center for NDT and Process Imaging. We have Center for Medical Physics and Cancer Research. But you don't think that center is like what I3 has. So I think that's maybe I call it center, but the person is on only one computer in the center, or on one person doing the things. But okay, if you like to do something that you have clear goal that you like to do, you really want to build it in your own. That's why we put it center, because that's our goal. That someday we are able to build it that's really a center. That's what I think that's in my mind when I decided to back to Indonesia from US. I think that was a good point explained by all the speakers today about Google, and that's what we are trying to do in Indonesia as well, because we don't have all our resources. That means that we have to utilize any resource that we can utilize, including maybe sometimes you are here in Taiwan, someone in Indonesia asks you, sending an email, please download this paper. That's one thing that you maybe that you can use it as well when you are trying to do your own in Indonesia. That's utilize everything that you can utilize. Don't ask about piracy. Don't ask about licensing software, because if you keep that and you try to do something, I think you won't start anything. But that doesn't mean that I don't respect that license. That I don't. Of course, I don't agree with piracy, and I respect totally about technology licensing. But when you learn something, you should not pay when you are not able to pay. Otherwise, you won't learn anything. So I think today's world is good because there is a framework of what's called open innovation. So that's something that I really learned from a big company like Google. I think Google is very good, and I think Google will survive very long time in the next generation, in next era, in open world society. Because I visited Google 2 weeks ago when I had a chance attending a conference in San Francisco. What I like to visit, because I admire Google, and Google really does something that I think it is a role model how I think you can do it everywhere in the world, including where there is no electricity, no good internet connection like a country like Indonesia. No, I still believe that the Google way still works in Indonesia. That's why I travel 30 hours making a presentation. Is not the really my goal, but I like to see the headquarters of Google. That's I travel 30 hours. Not, of course, it's not in a flatbed like Garuda has. It's just the same codes that you used last night with me. So I still not eligible for a flatbed, I guess. No, but okay, I like to see the headquarters of Google. What is Google doing is, I think there's something that I did learn. You may maybe ever watch a movie. The title is Antitrust. Antitrust. This the movie is something that's because the world like to confront Microsoft. Open innovation, open knowledge. So there's a quote from the movie. Human knowledge is belong to the people. So that's before the Google. When I was in US, I think this 2000 or 2001, before Google happening, I guess. Before Google happened like today. So there was a movie Antitrust. So I think that's the beginning of the Google today, and the beginning was the framework of an innovation, open innovation network. I think that's this one that you can use when you like to try to build something in Indonesia, even though sometimes you experience cut off electricity or internet connection, but still will work. I like that. That's what I did is the same thing. That we did what is important with the Google way open innovation is a network. So from now, what is important for you is not like the Jimmy Carter's quote, not piling up material or piling up things or making things or consuming things or doing all those things. But I think that's the most important thing that you have to do is building a network with everyone. With everyone that you can be a friend. So I think that's where you will build without you under your consciousness, that you build a network that you can utilize someday when you like to do in Indonesia. I started with that kind of network. Then we started to do in Indonesia, but I think that's quite successful. That's just an example. Even in Indonesia, you can still participate in a world high-class research project like this one, and with the Ohio State University. It's this one with the U.S. Department of Energy. This project is finished last year. But this one, I think one example that you can build a network, you can participate in a project, world class project, even though you are in Indonesia. This project, I think this quite I think this is quite successful project, and it is quite difficult because what we have developing for 12 years in Japan and 7 years in US, and then go back to Indonesia for the last 6 to 7 years, is about trying to develop an imaging technique This one is used in the U.S. National Energy Technology Laboratory under U.S. Department of Energy to compare the technology with the world's largest supercomputer. So because supercomputer can simulate everything, but no one will believe that the computation result is true. So the technology can verify whether the computation is true. So this is just an example how computation is compared with the truly imaging using four-dimensional. We have a dream. It's not a roadmap movie, it's a dream. And I think I'm happy to tell you that this dream, I like to fulfill it in Indonesia. Not in Japan or not in US, but it must be conducted in Indonesia. What's that? This I think Dr. Cheng explained today about Google Glass and also wearable computing. This one, what's called ECBD on-chip smart tomography, is actually a wearable miniature of a wearable computing. It's like, because it is a prototype of a 4D imaging with high power computing. So it's like just like human brain. So there's one thing that we have a dream to fulfill in maybe 5 to 10 years from now. So I'd like to introduce what we have developed. Even I like to underline this, what we have developed even in a place where electricity sometimes is shorted, and sometimes there is no internet connection, but still you can do something like this. This one is brain, for the brain imaging. You can see in real time that someone, or you can see yourself in real time, your brain function is not working, or you feel something about illness, you feel you are thinking something seriously, or you are sleeping, or you think nothing. You can see in real time in front of your laptop. So that's this technology can do that. As the second thing is this breast cancer imaging. So but it's breast cancer imaging. There's like the 4D scanner, human brain activity. So this you can see like here. Brain, when there is a malignant cancer inside the brain, so it's like dead brain. It's normal brain, it's a dead brain. So you can see the image of cancer, and you can see that your brain is not working in real time. Another example is breast cancer imaging. It's very simple, I think. So I felt so little when there are so many advanced devices like once presented by the last speaker, Dr. Yang, or the one presented all those semiconductor products that's presented by Professor Chang. But I think what Professor Chang did 40 years back is just the same thing that I try to do today in Indonesia. So maybe we can dream sometime up to 40 years. So I get in the first years, my hair already gray. So up to 40 years, maybe I have no hair anymore. But okay, let's just try to make things by ourselves and do something. I think that's something that we have learned from Professor Chang today. So we can do that actually in Indonesia, even though there is very, very limited resources. This equipment actually did a lot of things. Cancer screening, it can be done very simple. It can be done very simple. It's using 3 Tesla, the most advanced MRI machine used in clinical field in Indonesia. MRI 3 Tesla. This for breast, but you can see that your breast is normal with that very simple equipment. And you can see your breast has something inside. There's malignancy happening in your breast. Very easy. To see that, it will only needs 2 seconds. So I think for breast imaging using MRI, you need to be scanned for up to half an hour or 45 minutes inside that column. But with to see that your breast is healthy, it needs only 2 seconds. There's of course there is, but there is something as well. This technology is using low voltage electrical wave. It's low energy, so it will interact with human tissues, because human tissues is comprised from biochemicals and electricity as well. So the low voltage of electricity can interact with the physiology, nature of human breast. So actually, if Dr. Sekine, so his time is up. Dr. Sekine, he is a programmer, so he can communicate with someone. Just look at that someone is programmed. I can do the same with this image. This image I can even, because I am in the inventor of the technology, and I can see, I know what's going on with the image, so I can understand from the image while someone has period, while someone is thinking and stressed, is distressed, even while someone is happy. Sometimes when a woman got scanned, and I can see from the image without seeing her face, oh, ibu hari ini agak bahagia. Bapak tahu aja, emang tadi kemarin dapat utangan. You can see that that's from the image as well. So you can communicate, because there's your thing, like Dr. Sekine from the program. I can do that as well with this image. I like to go to the last things. No, not this one. I don't want to talk about cancer today, cancer treatment, because there is a war in my Facebook. Last night when I'm flying from Jakarta to Taipei, I got a letter from a respectful institution in Indonesia. That's what I have been doing with all the thing with cancer is alive. So because I don't want to lie to you, I don't want to talk about the cancer. So you can have my about information in the and I think we publish paper. You can learn from that. So I don't want to talk about that today because the time is up as well. So I like to go to the last slide I have. Research, innovation, and business. This something of different dimension. If you like to establish a technology company in Indonesia based on your own knowledge-based economy, you must be, like what I said, you must be a researcher, you must be an innovator, and you must be a businessman as well. Because this Indonesia is not Taiwan, it's not Japan, it's not US. You want to do it in Indonesia, you have to be a super woman or superman. I think that's true. But I like to tell you what must be you have to overcome, because the three things is completely different. Research, innovation, and business is completely different. Research, what you have to do to be able of doing a great research, you have to have a free mind, free imagination, serendipity. You must not be confined with money, material, matter, or things. That if you are that kind of person, so you have an ingredient of being a great researcher. But if you are that kind of a person, most likely you are not eligible to be an innovator because you are so stubborn. You can change yourself to different world. I think that's I'm sorry, I like to say that Japanese is so stubborn. He can do very good thing, but they are so stubborn to change themselves to adapt to different world. But they are a good researcher. And now, innovator, what's needed as innovator is disciplined mind. That's something that's really a researcher hates. And I hate disciplined mind as well, but because I live in Indonesia, I must have a discipline. Because if I won't find a customer that's willing to pay money for my job. So that you have, even though you are a researcher, you have to have a discipline. That's one. But that's about innovator, because what you have to deliver must be perfect. It must be a quality guarantee, and you have to deliver it in a right time. That's you developing things. But this not makes you a business. It's not guarantee you a business. That's Japanese example as well. Japanese making a lot of good things, but it's not guaranteed is not a guarantee of a business that generating profit. This business is a different, completely different dimension as well. Business, what is needed is a challenging mind, risk, strategy, and a bravery to make a decision. If you like to build, to establish a technology business in Indonesia, you have to have those all ingredients in yourself. So that's last thing that I like to tell you. Being able to making a things does not guarantee a business. That's something that I think there's quite a lot of time. There's a lot of Indonesian misunderstood that ability of making a thing like aircraft, for example. Taiwan doesn't make an aircraft. Malaysia, Singapore doesn't make an aircraft, and Indonesia is making an aircraft. But making an aircraft is different from doing business and aircraft business. It's different. So that's I like to say. That's you have to have discipline, different mindsets to try different world like Indonesia. Thank you for your attention today.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Warsito. Now, Mr. Alfie Saril, as Director of AISCT will come to the stage for the gift and the pictures.